Hi, I'm Amanda from Life Unraveled, and we're here to unravel life's little mysteries. In this unit, we're looking at helping in the classroom. What are the things that we should do and we shouldn't do? We're also going to go through some of the subjects that are covered and homework and also a little bit on how to help them read. So we've got so much to do. Let's get started. What are the things that you should do when you're actually helping your kids in the classroom? Well, it's actually quite easy. The best thing that you can do for your classroom teacher is offer to help, and help in any way that they need it. Sometimes they might need help with reading, sometimes they might need help with just sorting things out, sharpening pencils. All those things are really important to help with your children's classroom and the running of the children's classroom. One of the important things that you need to do is follow the directions of the teacher. So if the teacher asks you to do something, then you just do that, and when you finish doing that, you can sort of talk to them and ask them if there's something else that you can do. It's important never to interrupt them while they're teaching. And when you're talking to kids, there are a few rules that you need to follow, and we'll go through those in a minute. Encourage all students. And if you've got any worries or you're not sure if you're doing it right, talk to the teacher, because they're the ones that'll be able to help you. The teacher aides are great too, because often in prep and reception they have these wonderful teacher aides that are there all the time. They know the kids, they know the protocols, they know what should and shouldn't happen, and they can really help you out a lot. Some of the things that you should not do. Don't only teach your child and their friends. Make sure that you teach everyone and you're inclusive with your teaching. Don't talk on the phone, and if you do need to talk on the phone, then you need to excuse yourself and tell the teacher that you need to go. Don't tell any child that they're naughty or they're bad or they're silly or they don't know what they're doing or they're dumb. It's important to be encouraging and positive when you're helping out the kids. That's not to say that you're to encourage bad behaviour, but often ignoring it is the best possible thing you can do. Make sure though, if they swear or if they do something like to hurt another child, that you tell the teacher immediately, even if they're in the middle of a group themselves. Make sure that a teacher knows that that child is misbehaving. And don't gossip to other parents. Don't say, "Oh, Johnny is really bad at reading. I can't believe he's so low." Or even, "Oh, isn't Alice really, really clever? She's so good at reading. She's so much more advanced than anyone else." It's really, they're your observations and you need to keep them to yourself or even just to your partner, but really don't talk to other parents about it. If you have any concerns about any child who you've been helping, make sure you tell the teacher. It is mandatory that you do that, and then the teacher can take the matter further. Now, what are some of the subjects that are covered in school? Well, we here in Australia have an Australian curriculum. And this curriculum is designed to make sure that every child who goes to school covers all the aspects of information that needs to be that they need to know. It covers subjects such as English, maths, science, history, geography, the arts, music, health, LOT, which is a language other than English, PE, religion. All these subjects are covered as part of the curriculum. Now, some schools will do Indonesian as their language other than English. Some will do Japanese, some Chinese, some German, some French. Some actually do French for 2 years or 3 years, and then Japanese for 3 years. So really it's up to the school, and the best place to find out what that school does is look on their website. There are some schools that do immersion, so they'll do all their maths in French, for instance. And so their general speaking and everything in that classroom is purely done in French. All their maths terms, everything is all done in French. And these schools there's a few of them around, And it's really interesting to see how the kids cope with learning that language and using that language in a setting. Now, there is also a reporting authority which is called ACARA, and you'll hear sometimes that acronym used. It's the Australian Curriculum Assessment Reporting Authority, and these people make sure they look after NAPLAN, but they also make sure that all the reporting and the assessment is done correctly throughout all the schools. Often what happens in schools is that between classes they moderate. So if you've got 2 or 3 grade 1s or 2 or 3 receptions, the teachers will bring samples of C's and B's and A's to a forum, and they will compare them. And they'll go, oh yeah, this is what we want for an A student, this is what we want for a B student, this is what we want for a C student. These are the reporting guidelines, and this is how we're going to mark them. And that way you can see if the teacher is actually in line with other teachers. And then they do the same across schools, across regions, and throughout Australia. Now, homework, it's a really, really big thing. Do we do homework or don't we? That's the question. Some schools insist on homework, and homework gets a lot busier when they're getting up to year 5 and year 6 because they're coming into high school in year 7. But often with the little ones, the main homework that you'll have is reading. So they need to read every day, and the best opportunity that they have is reading with someone one-on-one. Now at school it's really hard to get that one-on-one, but it is really worth sitting down with your child and reading 2 or 3 times a day. That way they know that you really think highly of them learning to read, and then they'll try harder and harder. At school they're given all the tools that they need to succeed at reading, and the teacher will be on it. They will be assessing them all the time. When they're watching them read at school, they'll make sure that other people get to see them read. Often the teacher looks over as the children are doing their work and seeing their writing, and they'll go, oh right, this child needs this little bit of information, this child needs this little bit of information, and they personalise the child's journey through their reading. And this way the children then progress through the reading books. Now they have reading level books. Now you will hear people say PM readers or F&P readers or Fitzroy readers. You know, there's a whole huge number of different types of readers that children will be assessed on. And sometimes they'll get the same reader home again and again and again, and that's okay. It's important that we get repetition in our reading, and children really need sometimes to read a book 3 or 4 times. So if we're spending so much time with our children doing their homework, do they get enough time to socialise? Do they get enough time to play games and have fun? Well, homework shouldn't be stopping that. Homework should be something that they get to do. It supports their learning, they do it quickly, it shouldn't take a huge amount of time. If it's taking a long time, then you need to talk to the teacher about that. You need to say to the teacher, look, we're spending an hour on homework a night. And I'm sure what you'll find is that that will be unacceptable, especially for these little ones. Sometimes they won't start homework till in the middle of the year, just to get them into that routine. But really what we're doing with homework as teachers is we're sending home some of their learning that means that they've learned in the day that supports their learning, things that they can do so that it supports what we're doing at school. And what you'll find is that you also can see what they're learning, and you can help them. Maybe on the weekend you might see that their homework has been a little bit of counting. Well, then you can do lots of counting with them on the weekend. As you're chopping up cucumbers for a salad, you can count how many cucumber slices you've got, or something little like that, which really helps them with their maths. Or you can sit down with them and read their reader and get excited about it, because the kids see you excited, then they'll start getting excited as well. Repetition is essential to teaching your brain how to learn. And the more repetition we do, the easier it is for our brain to learn. So that's why we do homework, because it sets up these routines. It helps our brain learn how to learn. And when we're little, that's really what we need, is our brain to learn how to learn, so that we can learn all sorts of new things throughout our career. This video was produced by Imagination Pty Ltd for Life Unravelled. All advice and information given during this course is designed for general use only. If you have any concerns for your child, please seek professional advice as soon as possible. For terms and conditions, please see website www.lifeunravelled.com.au.